Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with Mixed Media Frenzy. And as you can tell from the supplies here, I may be doing and from my shirt, I may be doing a purple thing. So this is the original that we're doing for our hop today. And there are quite a few folks, not just the team that normally does the weekly lifts, but this week we have a hop, and I'm going to have all of the folks playing along in my video description. So as you can see, this is rainbow with a lot of open flowers and closed up flowers and a lot of black and white, the black and white photos and some black and white accents in the back with all of this rainbow gorgeousness. And one of the things I love is this doodled border around the edge. And so I'm going to definitely try to do that. I'm working, as you know, under a monochrome rule at the Mind the Scrap Summer Challenge. So, and you knew if I was involved in a monochrome challenge that sooner or later I was going to have to do a purple page. So I've pulled all of my different purple coloring agents, and I don't know if I'll use them all or just some of them. I have fussy cut and die cut some things, and I may have to alter a couple things. So we'll see how that works. There is this horizontal bit going across here, and I have a stenciling requirement, so I have a film strip stencil, and I'm going to use the bottom part of it with I don't know what, probably black ink that's just kind of drizzled in there. I don't think I'll do that with a pen. I want kind of a darker black mark. And I may outline some of the fussy cut things. I've got a bunch of purple flares. These are purple flares from lots of different sets. I've even got the puppy dog paws or kitty cat paws. And I just like that color purple, but I don't have any puppy dogs or kitty cats in my photo, so I probably won't use those, but I've got a bunch to choose from there, so I'll kind of put those off to the side. What I think I'm going to do is some distress inks kind of up at the top, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, so I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 distress inks here, and I'm just going to smudge them. Why don't we just go ahead and do that? I'm going to just kind of smudge them there and rough them around, and then I can kind of put them aside. This right here, when I say I like purple, that's the color right there that I really, really love. So I've got, what I've put on there so far is shaded lilac and then wilted violet. And this is Dusty Concord. And this is milled lavender. And I love that. When I talk about, you know, like a soft lavender, that's just beautiful. And then I've got this Seedless Preserves, which is probably closer to the, I don't know, maybe this Dusty Concord is closer to the family of purple papers. Let me kind of show you the papers. I'm going to try to do this quickly because I don't want those to completely dry. I have this Purple Page Evans paper that I have, it was a scrap I die cut a bunch of stuff out of. This is a Maggie Holmes paper, the black and white stripe, which I just cut a small strip. This is a paper, a Chatterbox paper by Melody Ross, and I have no idea where or when I got that, but it's old, and I'm sure I have it because it's purple. This is a double-sided paper that I have cut some black and white butterflies out of, and I fussy cut some of these flowers. I love this, and I got it off at off a giveaway table at a retreat. This is, I don't know, it may actually be Paige Evans, might be Dear Lizzie, but it came from a paper pad, and I love that design. And this is Lily Kate from Basic Gray, and there are some of you out there, I'm sure, just, you know, like freaking out that I cut out a couple flowers, but the flowers were speaking to me because these flowers, when I saw these, kind of reminded me of the Lily Kate floral pattern. So I'm gonna kind of, it's on a cream background, it has a blue center. I'm gonna recolor that blue center with something else. And so anyway, we'll see. I've got my photos are matted in some purple cardstock. I have a whole bunch of die cut things. So I'm going to put those aside, and now I'm going to try to create some drips. So I'm going to take some of this Dilutions ink, and I'm going to just kind of get it all through there, and it's not going to stay as splatters. And this is the same color Dilutions ink. It's crushed grape, but it's in the shimmer. And I've got this kind of ugly Heidi Swapp color shine that's also shimmery, but it's kind of a whole different color. And then I'm going to put some of this, which is a, whoops, I'm sorry, it's a color bursting kind of powder, and I overdid it right here. So let me clean that up before I make a horrible mess. That came out of that bottle. I haven't used the Nouveau much, and it came out of that bottle a whole lot faster, but I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to wipe it over here onto the page. And then I've got some actual Ken Oliver Color Burst in some purple colors. And I'm going to actually kind of maybe spritz a little there. This is it's Orchid. And this one is Wisteria, which is kind of a pinker, kind of purpley color. So I'm just going to shake that. Okay. All coloring things aside, this is a Hero Art Neon Purple. And I'm going to kind of put some of that in there and let it really color up that top area. Now, I'm going to use this Glimmer Mist. This is a really, really, really pale, shimmery, it's mostly shimmer and a little bit of purple. But I'm gonna kind of do this and let that all kind of mix up together and let it drip down. I'm going to need a little more help with some of the drips. And then I've got my paper towel kind of handy to blot some of it. Okay, I'm going to blot some with this and kind of let it, this is a baby wipe. I should have, in my quest to have all my purple coloring agents, I should have pulled the purple bleeding tissue paper, except there are no purple bleeding tissue papers. I think just this blotting is going to work for me. I'm going to kind of bring it over here. So we've got a whole slew of purples all kind of mixed up together. And I'm going to roll this and let that dry. And then, as we frequently do, I'm going to build the photo cluster, and we'll see what happens. Okay, that's off to there. Now my photo cluster, I know, is going to be joined, but I also have some kind of alteration to do on a couple things. Before we start building that, there are a few things. Where's the other one of those flowers? I have this little envelope. I got a Rosie Studio die that made this little envelope. And let's see, I know I have another, there we go, there's that. I have this raw chipboard ampersand, and I'm going to use one of those colors let's use the Dusty Concord because that's the closest to the papers. And let me get I have just lost my phone charger, so if the phone begins to run out of power, I have no way to to charge it. I'll have to reach for that again. Okay, this is just I've just kind of painted it almost with this ink. And I'm going to let that dry, and I think I'm going to stamp it with this text stamp that I'm going to ink up with this oil-based, the VersaFine ink. So I'll pull that out and kind of have it ready for the ampersand. So that's one alteration done. Let's get the black and white pen, and I'm going to color the center of the flower white with my white pen, and then I'm going to outline the flower. I'm going to go over this cream color with the white, and then I'll let that dry, and then I'm going to outline it, that little border that I left when I fussy cut that has a greenish hue. So I'm going to go ahead and color that up in with my black pen and kind of scratch it on there so that it looks doodled. I'm filming.
Oh, sorry.
What do you need?
I want to say thanks for lunch.
Oh, you're welcome. Did I get the right stuff?
Yeah, it was great.
Cool. So this is kind of fun doing this, and I may actually doodle around those. These are the high contrast. These are going to be the high contrast florals on there that will take the place of those really, these that are on there, because the rest of my florals are going to be muted by comparison. They'll fit in with the color story, but not so much with the with my color story, not with the original color story. They're certainly not going to be the my idea was to do this very roughly, and the roughness is kind of it's kind of altering the shape of the flower, which I don't like as well as I envisioned I might. So I'm going to let those dry, and I'm going to take some of these florals that I cut from the purple on purple paper, and I'm going to add some black accents to them. Oh, I have a couple of butterflies that were cut from the black and white, but I also have butterflies that I die cut from a mixed media piece, and I kind of want to color these. And I'm going to go with the wilted violet for one of them. We'll see how that works out. It should, it's picking it up only on the, it's leaving a lot of the pink. So that's not working out. I'm going to skip those. I'll put those off to the side with the papers I'm not going to use. Okay, so that was one failed experiment. Now, those leaves are going to stay white. Here's another one of those flowers. Okay, so now I'm going to take the black pen and kind of add some kind of sketchy black lines on some of the outer petals, and I'll let the inner petals kind of stay purple on purple. And this is gonna kind of maybe just add a little bit of contrast to those. I feel like when I do stuff like this, I feel like I'm you know, kind of betraying the artist's original work, and in a way I am. But the beautiful part about paper crafting is you can make it your own, and that's exactly what it is. Once you've purchased the papers, it's pretty much your own, and as long as you kind of credit whoever you got ideas from, if you remember, and I'm all for if I lift someone or if I just get a good idea for how to use a certain thing. I'm actually outlining all of this. I won't do that on every flower, but this one kind of seemed like it might benefit from that. Here I'm just gonna do the center, and I'll just outline instead of doing the sketchy, messy look. We'll see how that works. I may do a little bit around the very outer edge. And I could have done this before we started filming, but when I had set everything up and thought I was going to start filming, I got interrupted, and some plans changed. We had planned to go to IKEA today to get some stuff for Allie's room, and she had her first COVID shot, and is kind of running a little bit of a fever and wasn't feeling all that great. So we just took her car in to be looked at, and then I took the kids. Even Barrett was available. Ava was sleeping, but Barrett was available, so I took Katie, Allie, and Barrett out for lunch. And that was James coming in a while ago to thank me for the takeaway that I brought home for him. Okay, so that's going to go there. This one, I'll maybe do a few little lines in the center, so they'll all kind of have a little bit different bit of the black, and they'll look a little different, but obviously, you know, drawn by the same artist, which is, you know, not me. So here we go. I'll just kind of draw some of those on there. Okay, so those are done. I'm ready to put those on when they're ready to go on. So now I'll take these. I think the white ink is done. I probably, instead of doing this with a pen, I should do it with an ink pad or an applicator. Let me see if I can do that. That might be a more interesting application of the ink. And I think I have some distress. I do. So let's do it this way. And then it'll kind of color. It kind of gets that shadowing over onto the white. It's not as vivid a black as if I had done it with the pen, but it's certainly quicker and easier, and it kind of gives it a, like I said, an interesting look, that shadowing kind of sneaking over into the white. Okay, so I'll put that aside, and now I think I was going to maybe circle those with white. I'm actually going to circle them with black. And when I do that, it actually kind of makes those look a little like a browner version of black. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of color them in and that makes them a little more high contrast. Okay, so now let's hope that the thing is drying. So these are the photos. They're terrible because there was there were Venetian blinds and there was heavy sun. This was on one of our trips to Tennessee when we were picking up Katie and Barrett from their moms. Their mom lives in Kentucky, and we would meet halfway in Tennessee. So when James had work going, so I'm going to do that at that angle and do this one kind of this way. This one has John smiling, so I thought it would be a cute one to have full on in the middle. And Ava's laughing. I'm not sure I don't recall what they were laughing about, what she was laughing about, but it was kind of a cute. See, I didn't want that at exactly the same angle or height. So I'm gonna have to redo that. Here, I'm gonna put it up a little higher and maybe at a different angle like that. Okay, there we go. Can't have it looking like, it's perfect. Okay, so that's there. I kind of don't, let me run some foam behind it. I'm kind of delaying a little bit to get to get more drying time on the background, and I may end up having to do some stuff on wet. It looks really wet right in there, but I think that's really just the medium. I think that's the color burst is kind of forming some metallic crust there. And in the color burst, there's a tiny bit there are other pigments that kind of go in there, and there's a little bit of green sneaking up to the surface with that metallic look. But I can embellish to cover that up. So let me put some more. I'm going to lift this up pretty high for a couple of reasons. One is the matte on there is almost the same color as the background, so I don't want it to fade back in, so I want there to be a nice contrast. Now I'm going to use some liquid glue because if the paper's got any moisture in it at all, and we know it does, the tape won't last long. So I'm gonna pull this out and see what things I notice. There are frames kind of interspersed around here and there. There are all manner of paper at different angles kind of behind it, including some black and white papers. So I'm gonna kind of pick up on that chaotic sort of theme. Put that there. And let me get I'll just use this to kind of rub that in. Okay, now I have this ampersand, and I want to ink it before I forget. And I'm gonna just kind of do that. And try to halfway line it up. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put this aside and let that dry, and I'm going to take this and the ink and kind of put it off here. So I've got now all the coloring done and the alteration done. It's time to start kind of putting this together. And I want to make room for some of my favorite things that are on here. One is this kind of thing of black and white paper, which I thought if I kind of stuck under there could be a good breaking off point for some purple things to kind of come out from around it. So I'm going to take a fairly thin strip of this and put it down at the very bottom. And then I'm going to slide it under there, and that'll leave room below it up to that point, as well as, you know, on top of it. So I'm going to put it kind of at a wonky angle so that it's not lined up with that photo that's lined up. I've got a couple of different sizes of these banners, and I thought maybe, let me see if I could let me lift this up, and I've got 2 layers of foam there, and it can go in between those two. And I'm not going to glue it because I'll be gluing some stuff over it. And this one could maybe go kind of off at an angle down there, but I want a little bit of, I want to raise it up. Now this is very thin paper, and so it's not going to hold its own, so I probably need to help it out as much as I can with this foam tape. So I'm cutting strips that kind of will support even the middle. With a nice cardstock, I might not have needed to do that. It might have stayed up. And it's good that I have these little pieces. And then what I like about open frame type things like this is that you can use them as, you know, stages to kind of set up embellishment clusters. And I've decided, I think, that this is just not sticking, and I'm not sure if it's worth using it if it's not sticking now, you know. but I guess that's not unusual. Okay, sorry about this. This is taking way more time. I think what I may do is just kind of lay it there, even though the sticky part is not exposed, that the foam of this will help it kind of stay. I'm going to go ahead and use this because it's stuck on my finger, and I'm going to put this maybe right there. That actually looks like eyes and a mouth. I'm going to maybe do it up a little bit like that. Didn't want to make that look weird. So these are kind of my feature florals, and I kind of want them in prominent places. So I'm going to do that, maybe overlap the photo there. And now I can place some of these others. I have a little, okay, I have this frame, and I have the same frame cut in this. And I thought maybe I could put this like that, but it needs, some support. And here I can do one piece at the bottom and one piece at the top, and it's small enough, and it's small enough, and also it is heavy enough cardstock that it should, stay, the integrity of the shape will stay, so it won't bend. I love this purple. I don't know about you, but I'm loving this purple. And I love how some of the drips came down in pretty much the same area where their drips came down. So let me do that right there. And I think I'm going to use my purple heart. This is a little purple acrylic heart that Scrappy Adam sent me with a shipment. And I think it's my last purpley thing that he sent. This has this little notebook edge. I don't need the whole square there, but I thought that little notebook edge would be cute, kind of right there. And it's at a different angle, which is kind of something that they were doing there. This has a lavender color on the other side. Let me see. I have this, like I said, this little envelope, and I thought maybe I'd have a flare sticking out of the envelope. I could do that one with the kind of dark there, or I could do the white fireworks. Here's a striped one that kind of is counterpoint to the little swirlies there. So I like that. We'll go with that. In a minute, I need to, before I get too many dimensional things on here, I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the envelope. But before I put the envelope on, I'm going to get the mixed media, okay, and I'll glue this, the little die from Rosie Studios gives you the shape, and it's scored so you can fold it, but then you have to kind of piece it together, and I'm trying to do that with a flare in it, so it's a little bit difficult, but I think wet glue is the right answer for that, and I'm hoping that will set up if I weight it down with that piece of ink. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to do it like that, and then kind of bring it down and do it over here. And it's going to be, I'm going to use this and it's not going to go on perfectly, but it'll leave that kind of impression. And I'm going to do this one at a little bit different angle. And in my mind, this kind of opens up I could maybe bring embellishments down on this side and maybe have my title over here. So I kind of like that. Let's see. And this is water-based, so I don't have to worry about washing that stencil. Okay, I was gonna do this guy someplace, maybe right behind this flower. That looks good. Let me get a bit of foam tape. It'll go there, and then I want the foam tape up kind of right there. It's stuck to my finger. Okay. And I'm kind of liking the idea of the envelope being over in here, even though it's the same color. So maybe I need to put a flower underneath it. So this flower could maybe go right there. I'll put it there, and it'll kind of hold, because I put foam under it, it will hold this frame up, and that's kind of something that I'm going for. I'm going to put this one flat, maybe right there, and it's a very different style flower from this one, and I'm maybe going to do some, do a leaf sprig to separate them, like different flowers in the same garden. Okay. I have no idea if that makes any sense to anyone. So I have this big, gigantic flower, which, say, could be like right there. And the envelope, let's bring this more over this way. Maybe like that, and this could go here. Not loving that. Do I have something in a different pattern? I've got this that I could tear and have kind of at the side there. I need some torn paper for the Mind the Scrap Challenge. That's a nice tearing paper. That paper tears really nicely. Okay, I'm going to kind of stick that back there. I'm going to hide the end of it right there, and I'm going to let it kind of stick out a little bit. And I might do this right there, and I'm going to give it a bit of foam. At this point, I'm of course allowing myself to deviate from the lift that I'm doing. This is a tiny little strip of that Paige Evans paper, and I kind of like the idea of it just kind of living someplace on here, maybe right over here. So I'm just going to kind of glue it down. I didn't want to throw it out because it's cute and it's purple, and I don't throw purple away. So let me see where I'm going to put this guy. This is a this is cut from a Bramble Fox die, and I thought maybe, see, I'm not going to have that there, that's covering the photo, but I thought maybe I could put it right here underneath that frame. Okay. But I'm still playing with the idea that I want this. I just don't want to lose that, guys. I just don't. So how about we maybe put this under, maybe we put it under the whole mess, and that makes this look better even. And I'm going to be glad I didn't put the glue down. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that, and I'll just glue it straight flat down onto the bottom, and then we can layer some other stuff. I like this little guy, but maybe on the lavender side, and maybe kind of off at an angle like that. Or do I want it over here? I think I'm liking it better over here, and I'll find something else to put over here. Maybe that's kind of where I do want this envelope. Here. This puts it away from that same pattern, and it, these little envelopes are just so freaking cute, and I always love those when they come in collections. And now I can make my own from any collection I get, so it's empowering. So I'll do this. It's away from that, and it really kind of stands out. And you know what? Don't we need a leaf sprig sticking out of here? Oh my gosh, isn't that cute? Okay, I love leaf sprigs. I should actually spend one Saturday just die cutting leaf sprigs out of every color that I have, or every scrap I have, and just kind of having a big selection of them. Okay, so I've got these florals, I've got this kind of zigzaggy thing, and the zigzaggy thing could maybe go over here, and I'm gonna put some glue on it in anticipation that I will like where it's gonna go. Maybe right there, kind of under this, but at a slightly different angle. And then I'm going to cover up that spot with a flare. And I'm thinking for there, I might go with the coffee cup, because they're at a restaurant and that kind of, I could do that or the geotag. I was thinking the geotag maybe over there, just my sensibilities kind of seems like that would be right. And then I can layer maybe one or the other of these flowers or half of one up under the flare. I just love this purple. This is going to be one of my favorite pages ever in the history of pages because, you know, purple. I have another, I've used that one there. This may, it's a little bit too long. I think I say that every time I try to use that. I'm gonna maybe just kind of layer that right there and put a tiny bit of glue, and then maybe I'll put a black and white butterfly on it. Okay, let me find one of those little black and white butterflies. There it is. And I might put it right here because I've got a little glue there already. And I've got this white foam heart. It's the one that I'd made a puffy sticker out of, and I doubt that I'll ever have a page that this would go on. I was just testing. So I will always use it on the white side, but I thought maybe I might color it. Could it go right here? And then maybe I don't color it. Maybe I put something on it. A flare? Could I do a flare there? Let's see. That right there. And maybe I take this maybe I put the flare there and then layer the heart over it. So let's do it in the other order. How did I scrapbook before I discovered flare? And I've had flare, you know, it kind of used to be a thing, and then I would make flare out of, I just take the backs off of brads that were of a certain size and kind of use them in this way. But I ran through it. I had little enough of it that I ran through it and I used it up quickly. Okay, so now I've got 2 more of these flowers, and you know, I could cut more if I wanted to. I'm thinking the title's gonna go here, and I'm gonna have the word one, and then terrific laugh is gonna be the thing there. Do I want this here and maybe kind of coming down? Maybe coming down from behind the heart and running across that. I'm covering up that pretty purple, but that's kind of okay. If I have it going up, it might be I can adjust the length of it there. I'm just gonna kind of dry fit it there. It's covering up the ampersand and the butterfly, so I don't like that. So maybe here and kind of off to the side, sort of straight out. And we'll do that. Or, you know, I could do it here. I could have all of these things over on this side. Maybe that's what I want to do. We'll see if this works. That works, and then I can put maybe an enamel dot or something there, or, you know, another flare. Okay, so I've got this flower, and I kind of want some, let me put the smaller one over there, and then we'll see what we want to do. I'm leaving this open because you know how much I love that beautiful metallic kind of crust that develops with the color burst. And I kind of have this looking like it's layered under there, not just standing by itself. Okay, now this should probably go here, or do I want it here? I think I want it there. And I'm just gonna put the adhesive where I expect it to cover, and then I'll place it where it looks good with the photo, and it's gonna overlap that photo, and it kind of overlaps that flower, which is good. So that's all the flowers I have. And I have this little square of paper. I have this little rectangle. I have this little banner-y kind of thing. Let's do the banner-y kind of thing in its original color scheme, or in the reverse color scheme there. Let's do that. Okay, and let's see what else. Okay, it's not in there. I have two more of the little black and white butterflies, and I have a tiny little purple heart. Maybe the heart, and it's cut out of the Paige Evans, so maybe here, because I think it would show up there. Maybe I can outline it with my white pen. Let's see how that works. I have no idea. It has kind of a little border there. I have to be careful because holding it down, I'm going to mess the ink. And you're probably saying, but Kathy, you have glue on those tweezers. And it's true, it kind of stuck a little bit. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm going to put these other little black and white butterflies someplace. So I'm thinking we need one on the envelope, right here by the flare. And this can hold that down in. I didn't even get it on the glue, guys. Okay. There we go. And then we have this one, which clearly needs to be up here in this field, in this kind of open field. And it's going to be part of the cluster of that flower in that cup. Okay. Let's do that. And its wings are up. Okay. I think we're ready to put the title on. Do I need any other flares? Of course I do. If I had done this differently, there could be one there. I've got the geotag, and because I'm going to be saying where this is, the geotag might be kind of cool, and it could go right there. All right, we've got our geotag. I have a purple camera, and who doesn't want a purple camera on their layout? So I'm thinking maybe the purple camera should go right in here, because that kind of reads as pink, and I don't want to get counted off for my monochrome page. Okay, there. And let's see if we can find that camera. There we go. Kind of right in here. There. And I like that it looks like some things are sticking out from behind the photos, and the photos are at different heights. In fact, we know they're all kind of glued together, but leaving some bits open like that kind of gives you, you know, some interesting angles. So now our little heart is dry, and I'm gonna go put it kind of right there. I think that's gonna be cute. There's some tiny little purple flowers on the reverse side of that pattern paper. Okay, there. Now, let's do the title. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to overlap this little line of that little scrap. And do I want a capital N? These are Altenew Puffy Alpha stickers, and I don't have the other page of them. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the other page is in the other room. I'm going to see what I can do with just this page. ON, and then let's do the ampersand. I can't believe I did that. And I'll cut the little tail off. So, and then I had better come up with the other word in a different alpha, or with those letters. I had in mind One Terrific Laugh. I want to make sure that is parallel, and because I'm doing things at goofy angles and not really trying to be parallel, so I could do One Terrific let's see if I can make the word laugh out of these. Let's see what I could do here. Let's see. I could maybe make that an A. U. I could probably make that into a G. And in any of the, like that could be an L, L-A-U-G. And then this Y could be the H. So let's do that. Let's get creative. And honestly, I used these during the video, the live yesterday, and I must have put it away, and then without realizing that I had allocated these for this video. Okay, let's see what we were going to do. We were going to make this an L, and I'm going to go here, and this O, I'm going to put it on its side so it looks like an A. And then there's a little tiny U. And then the G, I was going to do this Y and maybe put a little piece. I'm going to cut the little piece off of the, oh, look, there's a piece I already cut off of something else. may have to do some gluing, but let's try that. And this tiny little piece, I'm gonna piece right into here. Because all the handling that I've done, that will not stick without some help. This is silly because I could have just said, excuse me while I dash over to the other room, but this is more fun. Okay, and then the Y, I should have a fairly small one here, and that looks just like an H, right? One terrific laugh. And that's, I'm gonna move this over, and I'm gonna have to glue it down, and I knew that. So, come on. It's not wanting to stick. There's still some of the powdered mediums that I used. There's still some powder, and when they dry, some of the, if you haven't fully wet that powder, you've got, you know, some of it will form on the top. So one terrific, and I want this down lower, right? So when we glue these down, they'll be down here, and I'm going to kind of leave everything at wonky angles. I forgot to look at who did the original, and I don't think it has it on the thing that I printed, and that is my fault because I'm pretty sure that whoever posted it included it in the post, and I just printed it and brought it to the table without checking that. So now I'm going to turn this kind of up the other direction. It's stuck to the paper because it had liquid glue. I'm going to turn it the other direction and kind of piece it in like that. And maybe slide it into place. There we go. And that kind of looks real. Looks like a G, maybe. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. These drips are metallic, and they've got that nice little outline, you know, on them. I love it. Okay, so done. And now I'm going to do the doodling around the edge, which to me is the pièce de résistance, you know, practicing my French, and I can guarantee you that's not Cajun French that I grew up hearing all my life. And do this, and then some stuff like that, and then more kind of straight lines that are off at wonky angles, and some stuff there, here, and some stuff there where the things. Okay. I like the messy, grungy look of this, and of course the purple is just my happy place. That's my my happy look, my happy view. Okay, so there we are. It's done. I had all these coloring agents out and I thought I was going to use them all. So I'm going to add, well, actually, I haven't used this yet. It is Glimmer Mist, which is 100 years old. And it actually kind of fades a little bit. So it's almost going to look like it was applied early on, and I just got some on the photo, which I'm going to say is okay. I'm going to get some on the embellishments, like that white heart and this guy right here. And it's that gorgeous blue color, not bluish purple color, which is similar to that one that I showed you, this wilted violet in Distress Oxide. That is, to me, the prettiest color that's ever been reflected by the sunlight. So I'm going to put a Nouveau drop kind of right there, and I'm struggling to get it round. I suppose it doesn't matter. I'm going to put one right here. And it's going to have a reflective surface and be a little bit, the color is going to blend into the background, but it's going to have a different texture and dimension. So it should show up. There it'll contrast. And right here, put one that's in place of enamel dots, I guess. And I'm going to add one right here just to kind of finish off the title. Okay, seems like I want to do something right here, hanging off the end of that frame, but I'm not sure. So this color it's a Nouveau Crystal Drop, and it is Crushed Grape. So same color as the Dilutions ink, but a very different color, in fact. So it's all done. Thank you for watching. I know this was a long one. I appreciate your sticking with me. I love it. It's kind of got the stuff. I will probably put some journaling on it. Maybe not before I take the photo, because what I want to do is kind of talk a little bit about what life was like in those days when we were making trips every other week to so that Katie and Barrett could have time with their dad. We didn't let the fact that they were 2 states away interfere with that. So we had the cooperation of their grandparents on the other side. So the grandparents kind of teamed up, and we met the grandparents in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So for those of you in that area, you know exactly where I'm talking about. There was a great scrapbook store there. I'm forgetting the name of it, but we used to meet at a sandwich place that was right next to the scrapbook store so that I could do some scrappy shopping. And this was probably a restaurant in some other area. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you have one terrific laugh. Bye.